It's been about a week since I pulled the trim off these windows here, and there the trim sits in a pile. Haven't touched it since. Reason being, I'm still working on putting a finish on some other stuff that I was working on, such as these drawers. Still got 3 more of those to go after these 2. Anyway, back to these windows. Well, once I pulled the trim off, the thing is, apparently these windows have always been drafty, and several remedial measures were taken over the years to alleviate that. Let me see if I can focus in here. The most notable being this metal thing here, and that goes around on the bottom and around on the other, all the way around the window. And boy, that stuff was nailed in good and solid. And along with that, on the windows themselves, some more metal weather strip, a nail about every inch. Geez, I am not taking that stuff off because, boy, it seems to be on there well, and so we're going to go with that. But, well, all that weather strip, weatherproofing efforts, something no one ever did is pull off all the trim and put insulation all around the window. And, well, that's something I've done this past week. Despite not refinishing that stuff, I have been installing insulation around the windows and in every little crevice. The light's terrible. But, well, I'm thinking that insulation will do, hopefully, as much as all that weather stripping stuff that they put in. And then, well, I was going to leave the windows alone, but once I started into it, well, I'm looking at the window jamb, and, well, here's an example here. This window, look at the terrible condition of that paint. It's just all flaking off. This is probably one of the better ones, but look at the checking, and that's all got to be stripped and torn off and start over again. Look at the top. Terrible, terrible. So what I have done here in the middle window here, I'm starting in the middle. I'm only going to do one window at a time. I've stripped all that paint off. Tiny little bit in the corner that's stable. We're going to leave that alone. I've stripped it off, sanded it, and wow, down at the sill, all the paint was gone. That was pretty easy. Not much to do there because all the paint was already gone. And anyway, the thing about these windows is another issue is apparently after over 100 years, the house has settled a bit, and these windows refuse to close quite right. I think this one I can maybe get it to latch. That seems to miss in a terrible lighting, I'm sure. But right up here at the top, you can see, can you see? The windows do not quite align. At the bottom, maybe it shows better. No, it doesn't. Anyway, this thing doesn't, does it work? No, it doesn't quite, hardware issues. Speaking of hardware, well, I thought as long as I got the thing torn apart, where did I put those hardware pieces? Oh, here they are, right here. Here's what all the hardware looks like right now. And I thought with just a little bit of cleanup, I can make it look shiny new again. Well, I want all the hardware to look shiny new again. Likewise with the hinges, looking really dull. But with a little bit of cleanup, looks like that. And I cannot actually remove the hinge unless I remove all this remedial weather strip that they put on, because that goes right over the screws. And after the metal thing, some years later, somebody installed this stick-on rubber stuff. here we go. It's also on this window here, and it's just, well, this is pretty much falling off. So we're just going to get rid of that. Gone. But I am going to leave this metal stuff on here because, as I said, it's nailed on. There's a nail like every single inch, and with just a little bit of cleanup, it starts looking like that. I don't think it's aluminum. I think it's some kind of alloy. Maybe it's magnesium. I don't know. But well, and anyway, then there's the finish itself. Well, the old finish is fair, but not great. I'm going to have to pull that hardware off and clean it up. But I thought, well, as long as I got this far, let's go ahead and clean it up. So I sanded it down, and that's what we got. I'm going to restain that and put a new finish on it. But that's not the biggest issue. The bigger issue is the back side of these windows. Let's turn it around. Here's the side I cleaned up, and oh, there's a window that untouched. Yikes! That paint is just in dismal condition, falling apart, and whew. So I went ahead and cleaned up the sash, and before we even get into refinishing, also the alignment issue that I was talking about there, well, on this window, it was slightly out of a line. So what I did is I added a block in every corner to kind of secure the window, make it more stable and in a proper alignment. Well, anyway, where are we going here? Gonna have to move you, and that is, we're gonna move you over to the table. Here we are. And what we're gonna do is, before I put a paint job on this side, something I'm gonna do is go ahead and put the stain on the other side. Because, well, my thinking is that, well, I can put paint over stain, but I really can't put stain over paint. So what we're going to do here is go ahead and restain this window, and getting into all these little spots here, that's, well, it took a lot of sanding to get that kind of cleaned up. Might still be a bit rough, I don't know. I'm not doing a perfection job here. I'm just trying to make it pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and stain this whole thing, restain it, clean it up, put a new polyurethane on it, and so on. And you don't need to watch me doing all that stain stuff. So the next thing, the next issue is, well, storm windows were added at some point in time here. And, well, kind of a sloppy job. Look at that space up there where, well, there's the top of the storm window, and the jamb is up there. There's a good 3/8 inch gap there that air can just flow through. And, well, that's, in my opinion, a pretty poor installation job. So I'm going to take some remedial efforts with that. And what I've done is I scavenged around and I found a board that I'm going to put in here. And by the way, on that window and the window over there, same situation. And where did I put those screws? Here they are. I'm just going to add a board in here. Geez, I hope it fits. I thought it fit. Yeah, there we go. And of course, this is a salvage board, and there are already holes in it. So easy enough to put this in. if I just get it aligned properly. Right there. And we're going to screw this thing in. I was only going to use 3 screws, but since there are 4 big holes, well, I'm just going to go ahead and put 4 screws in. So, with this, I will have something to, I'm closing up the gap, and I actually have something to secure the storm window too, where before it was just floating in midair. And finally, once I get this done, did I mention I cleaned all the nasty paint off of this gym, and we're going to go ahead and put a fresh new coat of exterior paint on this. So, here we go, just like that. And with that, kind of making something old new again. So, lots of paint, probably gonna do 2 coats. Even if I only do 1, better than nothing. So, well, you don't need to watch me paint. Even worse than that would be watching the paint dry. But, well, I think I've said enough on this, so let's let it go at that.